Reverend, the chaplain to the university.
Let us pray. Bene Sancti Spiritus, replitorum corda fidelium, et tui amoris in ae signem accendi, qui per diversitatem linguarum cunctarum, gentes in unitate fidei congregasti. Come, Holy Spirit, fill the hearts of your faithful, and kindle in them the fire of your love. For you are the one who, in spite of differences in language, gather the nations into a unity of faith. Amen.
Friends, may I extend an enormously warm welcome to this morning's graduation ceremony. Fel Chakir Lahaden, Do Humanahad Olhai Obadayan. Please be seated. Dr. Bond.
Principal, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to this graduation ceremony today. It is an honour to welcome you all to the University of Aberdeen, and in particular, the stunning surroundings of Elphinstone Hall. What a fabulous setting to graduate in, steeped in history and where most of the university's many graduands have gone before you. Many of you graduating today are supported by family and friends, here in the room and elsewhere. They may have provided you with moral guidance and possibly financial support. They have helped you in your life, and you have changed theirs too. Please stand up and show your appreciation to each other now in the normal way. So please stand up and give each other a round of applause. Although graduation is a formal ceremony, it is a celebration, and I encourage you all to support and celebrate each other's achievements as the degrees are awarded. Since its inception in 1495, the university has graduated many students who have gone on to become significant figures in science, technology, and political and social society. Most you will never have heard of, but each will have contributed to society and life. Your graduation marks a point in your life, a change from the daily rituals of student life to something new and different. What you do now, how you do it, and the impact you have on yourself and others will be determined by you. It is easy to feel like a small cog in the big world machine, but your attitude and choices will determine your path in that world. I want to share with you a personal experience from the last few weeks to make my point. The company that I used to work for before joining the University of Aberdeen 7 years ago has recently been acquired. The company was small and technology-focused, employing about 35 people. When I first joined, the boss was the man who had set up the company some 25 years earlier, and you joined a family. When you left, you were the diaspora. You were still very much part of that family. The family has a private Facebook page set up by the old boss, and the old boss, who I should add has no remaining financial interest in the company, posted on the page after the acquisition a supportive and forward-looking statement. It was a statement of reassurance. It encouraged positive choices and thinking. It was about new challenges and futures. Life needs to change, and from change, with the right attitude, comes much good. For me, it was a statement from a true leader, a supporter of all those in the family. The current staff, unsurprisingly, expressed concerns about their personal futures, the cost of moving to a new city with more expensive houses, the thought of not doing this and commuting for 2 hours, the schooling options for children. The list goes on. But what happened next? The Facebook posts went from stress to science. Within a few short posts, we went from commuting times to a discussion between existing staff and ex-staff on some very technical science questions and software development issues. It reminded me why I enjoyed working there. For the family, yes, but the family was based on the company ethos, science and innovation, a big R in research and development. If the current staff can take that with them, the creativity, the want to challenge, and the science buzz, the future will be very bright, and the company will still be a great place to work. So the message from my anecdote is to find what interests you and drives you, to show leadership to others, and to have a strong, positive attitude. I get excited about science, and I love working with others with that same view. You may have found what makes you tick here at the University of Aberdeen. You may have yet to find it, but when you graduate today, you will be joining a family of graduates from the University of Aberdeen. It is a prestigious family to join, and one that I hope will support you in your dreams for the future. Your degree is a ticket to start you on that path. What you do with that ticket and where you go is up to you. You may show leadership and support others. You may be a successful entrepreneur. You will all change the world in many ways, locally or globally. I hope you have enjoyed your time at the University of Aberdeen, that you feel like you are now chosen experts in your chosen field, but also that you have trained your imagination, your ability, in other words, to be critical, not compliant, creative, not conformist, that you can forge pathways to solve problems and issues that are important to you and that you want your life to address. It is these latter elements that will help you make your impact in the world. This is what today's graduation is about. Yes, a celebration and formal recognition of your university achievements, but also a launch pad to your future life. When you come up onto the stage, think about the fun times you have had here at the University of Aberdeen and the friendships that you have made. And think about the future and where it can take you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Bond. Professor Skakel.
Vice-Chancellor, I present to you for the award of Degree of Doctor of Science, Honoris Causa, Professor Michael Kosterlitz. It is with great pleasure that I give this address, both as an Aberdonian and as a physicist. Professor Kosterlitz is also both, and if that weren't enough in itself, he was also one of the recipients of the 2016 Nobel Prize in Physics. This was for work in exotic... This was for work in exotic states of matter, and in particular, topological transitions. At this point, I'm reminded of another famous Nobel Physics laureate and renowned science communicator, Richard Feynman, who said, "If I could explain it to the average person, it wouldn't have been worth the Nobel Prize." However, to everyone's delight, one of the Nobel Prize committee explained the concept of topology by comparing a bun, a bagel, and a pretzel. Indeed, our own maths students are allowed to take a piece of string into their exams when studying the topology of knots, much to the bemusement of other students and invigilators. One of the examples of these topological transitions occurs in materials known as superconductors. These are amazing materials which lose all their electrical resistance at very low temperatures, mostly below minus 200 degrees C or so. They have many exciting applications, and people will encounter them as the magnets in MRI scanners at a hospital. The theory is very complex, but the work of Professor Kosterlitz and his co-laureates has helped to explain why normal materials suddenly turn into superconductors, and their approach was in contrast to the traditional ways of thinking. Professor Kosterlitz's Nobel Prize lecture was characterized by a marvelous self-deprecating humour, describing how he'd been ignorant of some areas of physics and even didn't take a course in statistical physics because he didn't think it would be relevant to him. A lesson to us all: don't worry too much, you can always fill in the holes later. A bit like the bagel, perhaps. Vice-Chancellor, it is with great pleasure that I now invite you to confer the degree Doctor of Science, Honoris Causa, on Professor Michael Kosterlitz.
Doctorum et magistrum constituo creo proclamo renuntio, et insignum capituum hoc pilio ordo quod felix fastumque sit, deum optimum maximum precor. Congratulations. Thank you, French. Dr. Cook.
Vice-Chancellor, I present to you for the award of the degree of Doctor of Music, Honoris Causa, Judith Bingham. Judith Bingham describes herself as a performer's composer, someone who has always written with the performer at the forefront of her mind. And this is absolutely essential to her role as a composer and to the pieces she creates. A performer's composer she may well be, having written throughout her career for some of the best performers with commissions and performances from many of the most prestigious music festivals and organizations. But I would go further. For me, she is also a composer's composer, for the craftsmanship, technique, and quality of her music has been evident from the very first pieces and continues to be present in her compositions to this day. Judith's reputation is built on her impressive body of choral and organ work, one of the most consistent and original voices in the genre since Herbert Howells and Kenneth Layton in the mid-20th century. Not a week goes by without the performance of her anthems, motets, or services in the country's most prestigious cathedrals, churches, and choral foundations. Her work in this genre is entirely contemporary. It reflects the uncertainty of our times, but mixed with a thoughtfulness and sense of reflection that is often missing in her contemporaries. Her work is always original, thought-provoking, and entirely sympathetic and appropriate for the medium and occasion. Judith's reputation is not solely dependent on her choral music. She has written numerous chamber, instrumental, vocal, and orchestral works that are regularly performed. One of her most substantial and impressive pieces is the choral orchestral work Salt in the Blood, which was written for the 1995 BBC Proms. Her public reputation was enhanced in 2015 when she was commissioned to write the work Ghostly Grace for the reinterment of King Richard III at Leicester Cathedral in March of that year. This high-profile event called for a restrained but powerful statement of contemporary choral music, which was duly produced by Judith with her beautiful and memorable work. In an age of compositional plurality, increased media for the dissemination of new music, and frankly, many more composers than there ever have been, Judith Bingham has always written to commission, an enviable statement that not many other composers would be able to make. She has a wealth of choral and organ music, over 15 orchestral works and 5 pieces for brass band, to name but a few of her accomplishments. A performer's composer and a composer's composer she might be, but I think it is time to recognise Judith's achievements more widely and to give her the recognition that her work deserves. Vice-Chancellor, in recognition of Judith Bingham's distinguished career, her dedication to contemporary music and commitment to her art, I invite you to confer upon her the award of Doctor of Music, honoris causa.
Ego te musicae doctorum et magistrum constituo, creo proclamo renuntio, et insignum caput tuum hoc pilio, orno quodet felix fastumque sit, deum optimum maximum precor. Congratulations. Dr. Bain.
Vice-Chancellor, I present to you for the College of Physical Sciences Postgraduate Award for Excellence in Teaching, Dr. Amin Sharifi. This award is being given in recognition of Dr. Sharifi's excellent teaching.
And now, I hope walking down the aisle towards me is Liam Diker. Actually, Liam Diker isn't walking down the aisle towards me, so hopefully any minute now, Liam Diker will appear. If not, we'll just continue and do something else for a while. Liam was going to sing for us, so in a moment I'm going to ask everybody to join in some community singing. The Senior Vice Principal will lead. And we'll choose the song that we are about to sing. If not, we will maybe just push on and we'll sing a little bit later. You want to sing? No. The Senior Vice Principal has just decided he doesn't want to sing for us, so I'll ask Dr. Bain to promote some graduates. Thank you.
Domini, pro chancellari, Domini doctoris es magistri, et tota universitas, presento vobis sunt candidatum, examine probatum, ad gradum doctoratus in philosophia promovendum.
Stop. Annuenti senatu placet promoveri.
Ascendant Timothy Carlyle.
Consumi et potentissimi principes ammoihuic universitatae amplissimum Middlesedunt, te in philosophia doctorum et magistrum creo, in quies rei testimonium caput tuum hoc pilio orno quodet felix fastumque sit, deum optimum maximum precor.
Item presento vobis os candidatos examine probatus ad gradum magistratus in scientia promovendos.
Nuenti senati placet promoveri.
Ascendant Charity Alessi.
Ego auctoritate consumi et potentissimi principes almahuic universitatae amplissimum Middlesedunt, te in scientia magistrum creo, in quies rei testimonium caput tuum hoc pilio orno quodet felix fastumque sit, deum optimum maximum precor. Well done.
Joel Evans.
Ecce creo.
Cora Gebel.
Ete Crio.
Mofi Falua o Lawumi.
Ete Crio.
Crawford Paris.
Ete Crio.
Item presento vobis os candidatos examine probatos ad gradum magistratus in economia agraria promovendos.
Anuenti senatu placet promovere.
Ascendant Tracy Ann Anderson.
Ego auctoritati quam sumi et potentissimi principes am hic universitate amplissimum Mindel tein economia agraria magistrum creo, in quies re testimonium caput tuum hoc pilio orno quod et felix fastum quae sit, deum optimum maximum plecor.
Lauren Chedbon.
Ete Crio.
Penelope Coles.
Ete Crio.
Leanne Imlach.
Ete Crio.
Andrew McEwen.
Ete Crio.
Fiona MacLeod.
Ete Crio.
Jonathan Moores.
Ete Crio.
Anna Newman.
Ete Crio.
Philippa Orr.
Ete Crio.
Louisa Robertson.
Ete Crio.
Claire Wilson.
Ete Crio. And now I'm delighted to say that we can have a musical interlude because I'm pretty sure that any moment now Liam Dyker will be walking down the aisle towards me, and he is, and that's fantastic news. And Liam is this morning going to perform for us a traditional song, Westering Home. Liam is a second-year student studying for the degree of Bachelor of Music. He sings in many, many choirs across the city, is a member of our prestigious chamber choir, and also sings with the King's College Choir, and has been awarded the Margaret Carlaw Music Scholarship. He is also a Principal's Scholar, and I'm delighted also to say that his grandparents are with us as guests of honorary graduate Professor Kostelitz, so no pressure, Liam.
Folk like the folk
Cockabane.
Item presento vobis os candidatos examine probatos ad gradum doctoratus in philosophia promovendos. Ascendant Rosemary Isioma Adaba.
Autoritati quam sumi et potentissimi princim pesam oique universitatae amplissimum Middleseirant, team philosophia doctorum et magistrum creo, in quies rei testimonium caput tuum hoc pilio orno quodet felix fastum quae sit, deum optimum maximum preco. Congratulations.
Maria Bloomstock. Guilherme Bozzetti. Trevor Davis. Helen Shields. Item presento vobis os candidatos examine probatos ad gradum magistratus in scientia promovendos. Ascendant Rai Crocker.
Ego autoritati quam sumi et potentissimi princim pesam oique universitatae amplissimum Middleseirant, teum scientia magistrum creo, in quies rei testimonium caput tuum hoc pilio orno quodet felix fastum quae sit, deum optimum maximum preco. Well done.
Amanda Victor.
Et te crea.
Jed Anderson.
Et te crea.
Chinedu Kelly Chukwunyeri.
Et te crea.
Hugo Deng.
Et te crea.
Richard Donaldson.
Et te crea.
Cameron Gurley.
Et te crea.
Jason Hagan.
Et te crea.
Sophie Humphrey.
Et te crea.
Denise Longdon Frimpong.
Et te crea.
Christopher Reed.
Et te crea.
Kate Robb.
Et te crea.
Robert Watrett.
Et te crea.
Samuel Clay.
Et te crea.
Maria Di Martino Perez.
Et te crea.
Jemima Lamptey.
Et te crea.
Ying Lee.
Et te crea.
Jesus Mesquita Gonzalez.
I take Korea.
James Forrest.
I take Korea.
Nakai Amanor Mfuafo.
I take Korea.
Godfred Essoon.
I take Korea.
Lanka Lancharichova.
I take Korea.
Olga Magelikadi.
I take Korea.
Stuart Melville.
I take Korea.
Tony and Walbodo.
I take Korea.
Catherine Patterson.
I take Korea.
Kahindi Tawo.
I take Korea.
Corey Anderson.
I take Korea.
Matthew Belshaw.
I take Korea.
Saad Bati.
I take Korea.
Nicholas Bradley.
I take Korea.
Amy Chambers.
I take Korea.
Chitchon Chitpayak.
I take Korea.
David Clark.
I take Korea.
Megan Klein.
I take Korea.
Jennifer Finley.
I take Korea.
Elliot Foley.
I take Korea.
Leanne Heron.
I take Korea.
Jonathan Holt.
I take Korea.
David Landpack Key.
I take Korea.
Harry Lind.
I take Korea.
Catherine McCutcheon.
I take Korea.
Emma McRae.
I take Korea.
Herman Mahodim.
I take Korea.
Andrew Moyle.
I take Korea.
Callum Robertson.
I take Korea.
Daniel Robertson.
I take Korea.
Lawrence Rolland.
I take Korea.
Emer Sheehan.
I take Korea.
Callum Stewart.
I take Korea.
Blair Strike.
I take Rio.
Christiane Theriault.
I take Rio.
Alexander Wire.
I take Rio.
Sulaiman Balarabi.
I take Rio.
Anna Ioannou.
I take Rio.
James Nui Tano.
I take Rio.
Hania Zenabu Bello.
I take Rio.
Nicole Allen.
I take Rio.
Zaki Benama.
I take Rio.
Abdenur Benzouash.
I take Rio.
John McMillan.
I take Rio.
Rizky Putra.
I take Rio.
Minerva Rodriguez Morales.
I take Rio.
Aldo Sanchez Hernandez.
I take Rio.
Jatmiko Santoso.
I take Rio.
Arsian Sassoni.
I take Rio.
Ian Martin.
I take Rio.
Mauro Cruz.
I take Rio.
Fernando Martins.
I take Rio.
Clement Nuama.
I take Rio.
Carlos Daniel Sanuka.
I take Rio.
Carlos Aguirre Idel.
I take Rio.
Jonathan DeCosta.
I take Rio.
Francisco Kalenga.
I take Rio.
Albert Seckley.
I take Rio.
Tomacheni Hao Tomacheni.
I take Rio.
Pedro Valentim.
I take Rio. And now walking down the aisle towards me is Shannon Stevenson. And Shannon is a third-year student on the degree of Bachelor of Music. And she's an active member of the University Symphony and Chamber Orchestras, as well as the renowned Elphinstone Fiddlers. And after leaving school, she spent a year on the Isle of Uis studying traditional music. And this morning, she's going to perform for us Mr. Mickey, Miss Lyle, and Gillen's Reel. Shannon. Shannon. Dr. Bain, Promoter of Graduates.
Item presento vobis sunt candidatum examine probatum ad gradum magistratus in scientia chimica promovendum.
Anuensis noti placet promovere.
Ascendat Ryan Hedrick.
Ego autoritati consumi et potentissimi principes alma huic universitatae amplissima Mindel-Serent. Te in scientia chimica magistrum creo, in quies rei testimonium caput tuum hoc pulio ono quoret Felix Fastum quae sit, deum optimum maximum precor.
Item presento vobis os candidatos examine probatos ad gradum baccalaureatus in scientia promovendos.
Anuensis noti placet promovere.
Ascendat Finlay Strain.
Ego autoritati consumi et potentissimi principes alma huic universitatae amplissima Mindel-Serent, te in scientia baccalaureum creo, in quies rei testimonium caput tuum hoc pilio orno quoret Felix Fastum quae sit, deum optimum maximum precor.
Qui honores mereunt, ascendant Victoria Williams.
Et te creo.
Alistair Gillespie.
Et te creo.
Matthew Wilcox.
Et te creo.
Thomas Hulston.
Et te creo.
Andreas Kuchinskas.
Et te creo.
David Hendy.
Et te creo.
Alexander Ritchie.
Et te creo.
Item presento vobis os candidatos examine probatos ad gradum doctoratus in philosophia promovendos.
Anuensis noti placet promovere.
Ascendat Sergi Arnaud Almiral.
Ego autoritati consumi et potentissimi principes alma huic universitatae amplissima Mindel-Serent, te in philosophia doctorum et magistrum creo, in quies rei testimonium caput tuum hoc pilio orno quotet Felix Fastum quae sit, deum optimum maximum precor.
Sunday Atuba.
Et te creo.
Sean Fraser.
Et te creo.
Adamu Rashid.
Et te creo.
Item presento vobis os candidatos examine probatos ad gradum magistratus in scientia promovendos.
Anuensis noti placet promovere.
Ascendant Joseph Abazeri.
Ego autoritati consumi et potentissimi principes alma huic universitatae amplissima Mindel-Serent, te in scientia magistrum creo, in quies rei testimonium caput tuum hoc pilio orno quotet Felix Fastum quae sit, deum optimum maximum precor.
Hector Basulto Aleman.
Et te creo.
Jasvinder Clark Dudley.
Et te creo.
Taubatun Diancia.
I take Rio.
Yeyan Lee.
I take Rio.
Idelitruda Melissa.
I take Rio.
Neil Service.
I take Rio.
Scott Smith.
I take Rio.
Michael Agyarkonti.
I take Rio.
Mustafa Amer.
I take Rio.
Atish Bahuguna.
I take Rio.
Syed Isan Imamzadeh.
I take Rio.
Rishav Jain.
I take Rio.
T. Lay.
I take Rio.
Anthony Morgan.
I take Rio.
Luis Eduardo Obediente Marcano.
I take Rio.
Opeyemi Oludara.
I take Rio.
Majid Pasha.
I take Rio.
Olakunle Popula.
I take Rio.
Rinaldi Ragasa.
I take Rio.
Heng Quang Tan.
I take Rio.
Ernest Adinkra Twum.
I take Rio.
Wan Mohammed Wan Mod Sanusi.
I take Rio.
Chen Wei Wang.
I take Rio.
Stefan Wilms.
I take Rio.
Liliana Balsa Vilches.
I take Rio.
Paul Brennan.
I take Rio.
Alexander Falzon.
I take Rio.
Christopher Keeland.
I take Rio.
Kelly McConaughey.
I take Rio.
Jane Yokabi.
I take Rio.
Dmitry Talanov.
I take Rio.
Anita Thakkar.
I take Rio.
Victor Rwandi.
I take Rio.
Adesola Adetoye.
I take Rio.
Fabian Andraka Gutierrez.
take Rio.
Pamela Chantiri Dorantes.
I take Rio.
Rafael Cortez Cruz.
I take Rio.
Mohamed Dabous.
I take Rio.
Afam Ejidike.
I take Rio.
Mahmoud El Sayed.
I take Rio.
Ricardo Formoso Rafferty.
I take Rio.
Ian Lamont.
I take Rio.
Monica Lever Inglis.
I take Rio.
Jorge Martinez Licona.
I take Rio.
Ross Maudsley.
I take Rio.
Puchida Methnamith.
I take Rio.
Gideon Okoye. Pachayaton Putmi.
I take Rio.
Bethsabe Sanchez Moreno.
I take Rio.
Zainab Shuaib.
I take Rio.
Delvira Singkwang.
I take Rio.
Anthony Wamwaki.
I take Rio.
Blair Ward.
I take Rio.
Sanam Bandari.
I take Rio.
Christian Mahendrata.
I take Rio.
Kevin Stephen.
I take Rio.
Bright Anayeli.
I take Rio.
Annabel Chavez Perez.
I take Rio.
Kurniati Ekotomo.
I take Rio.
Rebecca Elliott.
I take Rio.
Kesena Feludu.
I take Rio.
Yuan.
I take Rio.
Mohammed Haji Tahar.
I take Rio.
Ilya Kivko.
I take Rio.
Ritu Miller.
I take Rio.
Tom Murdoch.
I take Rio.
Oduayo Esther Oalenpekun.
I take Rio.
Dulce Rubio Zettina.
Take Rio.
Item presento vobis os candidatos examine probatos ad gradum magistratus in studis fabrilibus promovendos.
Anuensis senati placet promovere.
Ascendant George Brookfield.
Ego, auctoritati quam sumi et potentissimi principes Hic universitatae amplissimum Mindelsadunt. Teum studius fabrilibus magistrum creo, in quies rei testimonium caput tuum hoc pilio orno quodet felix fastum quae sit, deum optimum maximum precor.
James Meaden.
Et sec Rio.
Item presento vobis os candidatos examine probatos ad gradum baccalaureatus in studis fabrilibus promovendos.
Anuensis senati placet promovere.
Ascendant Ryan Cadenhead.
Ego, auctoritati quam sumi et potentissimi principes Hic universitatae amplissimum Mindelsadunt. Teum studius fabrilibus baccalaureum creo. In quies rei testimonium caput tuum hoc pilio orno quodet felix fastum quae sit, deum optimum maximum precor.
Jack Iris.
Et sec Rio.
Danuska Palia Guruj.
Et sec Rio.
Robert Halsted.
Et sec Rio.
Sheila Maria.
Et sec Rio.
Kang Chai.
Et sec Rio.
Hassan Kayani.
Et sec Rio.
Nadir Dilar Maria.
Et sec Rio.
Jacob Nadozi.
Et sec Rio.
Item presento vobis os candidatos examine probatos ad gradum baccalaureatus in scientia fabrili promovendos.
Anuensis senati placet promovere.
Ascendant Peter Lane.
Ego, auctoritati quam sumi et potentissimi principes Hic universitatae amplissimum Mindelsadunt. Teum scientia fabrili baccalaureum creo. In quies rei testimonium caput tuum hoc pilio orno quodet felix fastum quae sit, deum optimum maximum precor.
Matthew Scully.
Et sec Rio. Professor Kostelitz.
Congratulations to everybody, and I've been asked to give a few closing words for this ceremony. So, Vice-Chancellor, Pro-Vice-Chancellor, graduates, graduands, and guests. I'm extremely honoured by this honorary degree from Aberdeen University, because I never attended Aberdeen, but my father did work here for about 60 years, I think. And was the discoverer of what is called the encephalons. He was a remarkable man. He started as a physiologist, well, actually started as a refugee from Germany, from Hitler, and came here, started as a physiologist, and ended up as what he called himself a neuropharmacologist, and even has a building named after him. Once overheard a student saying to another, "Suet the Kostelics." Now, I didn't know what the Kostelics was, but it turned out it's a building named after my father. I was born here, and I went to school here until I was 16, after which I was sent to Edinburgh Academy to try, successfully I might add, for Cambridge University. Now, I really don't know what inspiring things I can say to you, so perhaps I should tell you a bit of the story of my journey to Stockholm and the Nobel Prize. After a somewhat checkered education, my first real job was in the Department of Mathematical Physics at Birmingham University, first as a research fellow, then as a lecturer, senior lecturer, and finally as a reader. In fact, this was the place where I learned what physics, which is a subject I studied, is really all about. Because I worked with one of the truly great minds in physics and realized that physics was something I could devote my life to, despite my other passions, climbing mountains and my family. However, despite the Vice-Chancellor's introduction, which seemed to make my progress from Cambridge undergraduate to Nobel laureate sound well organized and straightforward, it was anything but that. I like to think of my journey to Stockholm as a sort of random walk through physics, because my Nobel Prize was really a combination of 90% dumb luck and about maybe 10% smarts. The luck was being in the right place at the right time and doing the right problem, while the smarts was the ability to do the right calculations, but the essential ingredient was the luck. Although it didn't seem so at the time, the right place was the Department of Mathematical Physics at Birmingham University, and the right time was the early 1970s, and the right problem was the one that David Thowles and I did. Now, of course, at the time, I had no idea I would end up doing a postdoc in Birmingham for several reasons. In 1969 to 70, after getting a D.Phil at Oxford, I was a postdoc in high-energy physics in Torino University in Italy, doing long, tedious calculations. Of course, Torino was very carefully chosen because of the Alps, and the physics wasn't bad either. In fact, I was good enough to seriously consider giving up physics to become a professional mountaineer, but fortunately, Berit, then my girlfriend and now my wife of 47 years, I've got written down, I think it's about right, vetoed this idea. As an aside, a few years later, I beg your pardon, I came down with a nasty neurological condition called multiple sclerosis, which affected my balance and destroyed any climbing ambitions I had. My father speculated that this was due to some mushrooms I'd indulged in when climbing in North Wales, but I don't think he was right. Whatever the cause, I had to make do with my day job as a physicist and teacher, which did not need the same athletic ability. Now, in high-energy physics, the place to go after Torino was CERN in Geneva, which also combined excellent mountains and good physics. The only thing that prevented me going there in 1970 was my customary disorganization. I failed to submit my application to CERN in a timely manner and got the reply, "Sorry, all the desk space has been taken. You should have applied earlier." Unemployment now loomed over me, but Berit, my girlfriend, walked all the way down to the Torino railway station to buy an English newspaper in which academic jobs were advertised. Now remember, this was long before the days of the internet and so on, so one actually had to read paper to get the information. And luckily, we found a couple of advertisements for physics jobs for which I duly applied, and was offered some positions, and I chose a 2-year research fellowship in the Department of Mathematical Physics at Birmingham University. Now, I knew nothing about Birmingham. except that it was a big industrial city with lots of factories in the flat middle of England with no mountains in sight. So it was really, as far, you know, as a budding climber, it was the last place in the world I wanted to go to. But Birmingham turned out to be quite a nice city to live in after all. The university was good. The Cadbury estate was a lovely place to bring up a family, and we made a number of friends. In hindsight, of course, it turns out that professionally, this is the best choice or accident that could have happened. In the first year or two, I continued some long, tedious calculations with basically no results. Now, I was on track to write up my results several times, but was repeatedly thwarted by a group from Berkeley, which managed to publish first. So, seething with frustration and anger, I descended upon my colleagues at Birmingham asking if they might have an interesting problem I might look at. As luck had it, Professor David Thowles had an interesting proposition in condensed matter physics about which I knew nothing. He was interested in a class of unsolved problems in 2 dimensions, such as the onset of superfluidity and superconductivity in very thin films. And I think the word topology also appeared somewhere. Now, I say this because part of my Nobel citation incorporated the word topology. Now, remember, it says, at the time I knew nothing about topology. And so I found David's ideas very hard, and he was a very hard taskmaster, but an excellent mentor. And I found his ideas very difficult and challenging, but they started to make sense. We discussed further and wrote up a couple of papers which solved a long-standing problem, about maybe 20 years old or something, the problem, in two-dimensional phase transitions. So at age 31, I did my most important work, for which I received my shared Nobel Prize in Physics. And of course, since then, I've attempted to repeat my success with, repeat that, but with no notable lack of success. Now, I received the Nobel Prize for this work, which I did with Thowles. I did that work in 1970, 72, and got the Nobel Prize for it in 2016, because the phrase that comes to mind in our case is better late than never. Now, in this little anecdote, I've tried to outline the trajectory of the path, often crooked and at times aimless, which led to the Nobel Prize work. And I hope that this has given some of you hope and encouragement. There's often a light at the end of the tunnel, however difficult the path you're on seems to be at the moment. So what I would say is never get discouraged and do what you love, even if it seems pointless, and have fun with it. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Kosterlitz. And now, friends, will you stand and join me in singing God Save the Queen? The chaplain to the university.
May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warmly upon your face, and the rains fall softly upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Amen.